I thought I figured out that pause thing, but I guess I did not. So anyway, I'm picking back up where I left off. This is the very end of the book, and let me just, I guess, jump right into it. I might reread something that I had read before, but I want to make sure that we get it all together here. So here we go. All right. Holding up my book, Romanism, A Menace to the Nation, at page 67, I drew the attention of the vast and representative audience before me to the photographic copy of a cablegram stolen from the files of the Western Union Telegraph Company in Chicago. I recalled to my audience the fact that this cablegram sent to Rome June 6, 1901, addressed to Cardinal Lwowski, prefect of propaganda, had been by a Romanist agent stolen soon after it had been filed with the Western Union and given to the Roman hierarchy. The cablegram, bearing my own and the signature of another protesting priest, sent, however, at the instant and expense of a large committee of Chicago protesting priests, was, once in the hands of the enemy, photographed and used to the injury of myself and friends, to the furtherance of corrupt hierarchical interest and misrule. The Romanist agent who perpetuated the thief of that Chicago cablegram defied a fine of $1,000 and a 7-year term in penitentiary. The Pittsburgh Romanist agent, backed by the prolific treasures of Roman prelacy and priesthood, was evidently just as temerarious. Is the Western Union, I may surely ask, after such a barefaced theft, really honeycombed with Romanist or Jesuitized Protestants, all ready to render service to the old whore of Babylon by feloniously invading private and individual right? Having failed from the early days of July to obtain any satisfactory explanation, the Cincinnati main office of the Western Union sent, on August 10, 1913, all the papers in the case to Superintendent Terry of Pittsburgh, insisting on an explanation. On August 12th, wire was sent Pittsburgh at my request, asking for a copy of my original telegram. It took 3 urgent telegrams to Superintendent Terry of Pittsburgh to secure of that original message. Here it is. Cincinnati, Ohio, June 28, 1913. Reverend W.G. Cole, Spencer Methodist Episcopal Church, 118 Stewart Avenue, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Your letter received this morning. God willing, I will be with you and patriotic people of Pittsburgh, July 20th to the 26th. My 6th subject is esoteric Romanism. Letter follows. God save the world and humanity from Rome and things Roman. Jeremiah J. Crowley. Does it not look as if this message was held up for the purpose of putting the committee and myself at cross purposes? It may have been hoped in this way to prevent, at all events for a time, my series of lectures in Pittsburgh. No trick that Rome is not equal to in the suppression of free speech. Told in New York City, the Bishop Muldoon of Rockford, Illinois, and his hierarchical associates had planned to prevent the publication of my book, Romanism, A Menace to the Nation, then in a publisher's hand. I called on that prelate at his Rockford home, October 7th, 1911, on a Sherlock Holmes mission of inquiry as to the schemes of and the means and methods to be invoked by Muldoon and his hierarchical associates to corral my publisher. I got all the light I wanted. I started Muldoon talking. The rest was easy. I wanted to draw him out. No great difficulty in getting him started. The mere mention of his deadly clerical foes, His Grace, Ireland of St. Paul, Father Cashman of Chicago, et al., gave him a brainstorm. He stated to me openly, among many other things, that he knew who stole our cablegram to Rome in 1901. Of course he did, for Muldoon was head in front of the machine that cablegram had so forcibly hit. He added that he also knew its present whereabouts. Of course he does. From the information previously received and from the whole tenure of my conversation with Bishop Muldoon, I realized that there was a fixed and definite design to prevent the publication of my book, Romanism, A Menace to the Nation. I then and there resolved in consequence to become my own publisher, and within a week had completed arrangements in Cincinnati to carry out that purpose. I may here mention that to discredit myself and my anti-Romanist campaign, it has been insinuated that I went to Rockford secretly to sell out to Muldoon. This insinuation was not even widespread till 1 year after my visit to Rockford and 6 months after the publication of my book, in which I stated specifically that I had called on Muldoon October 7th, 1911, see Romanism, A Menace to Society, page 677, to visit. My visit to Rockford was not secret. I registered in my own name, without slightest attempt at concealment, at hotels both in Chicago and Rockford. If my visit to Rockford was one of blackmailing, would Muldoon have hesitated to place me at once under arrest? Muldoon has not enough money, nor has all the hierarchy of Rome to buy me into silence. Muldoon, on the occasion referred to, denounced archbishops, bishops, and priests at one time associated with me as criminals of deepest dye, fit only to be jailed, shot, or hanged. These criminals are now, however, his ecclesiastical bedfellows, but they are not, thank heaven, mine. None such shall ever be. Shortly after Archbishop Quigley's arrival in Chicago in 1903, I called on him March 13th, 1903, at his own urgent invitation at his palace in Chicago. Born, like other children of poor folk, in a log cabin of very modest dimensions near Oshawa in Canada, Quigley's rise in favor with the popes of Rome has in a few years made him Dizzen of Seismai. Let's see, I'm saying that I'm so wrong here. How do we say this? In a few years, made him Dezzen of semi-regal palaces. When I had made mention to His Grace Quigley of my suit against the Western Union Telegraph Company in the stolen cablegram, he protested vigorously against such a course, exclaiming, "We cannot, for the church's sake, permit that action to go on. Such an action would at once confirm the public mind in the belief, now all too general, that Rome is ready to rob not only the files of the telegraph companies and other corporations, but even government offices to carry out any of its cherished schemes. Why are we now even accused of getting hold of presidential messages before they are even given to Congress or the public? Quite easy now would be the purloining by Rome of presidential documents. No, the church is under the shadow, deep and dark enough, without putting on her before the American public the garb of a telegraph thief." That suit must be dropped and the question of damages for you otherwise dealt with. To damages you are entitled, but the church must be spared the ignominy of exposure. In other words, the individual in the papal system is nothing, the machine everything. To this policy, cruel and unfeeling, the prelacy and priesthood of Rome live up with the utmost fidelity. Pope Adrian IV sold Ireland to King Henry II of England for a guarantee of Peter's pence. Every pope since Adrian's time has sacrificed men in scores, several in hundreds, and many more in thousands to save or to strengthen the infamous papal system. Men's lives have been, throughout the ages, bartered by the Vatican for filthy lucre. The individual Christian is, I repeat, nothing, the blood-stained machine, everything. It is apropos of Rome's conscienceless disregard of individual right and defiance of law. My duty to state that on Thursday morning, August 14th, 1913, I received at the Cincinnati Post Office a registered letter from a prominent patriotic citizen of Oelwein, Iowa. The letter was in bad order, as certified to by post office clerks Charles Keck and Leon Pangburn. The letter had been opened before it reached Cincinnati. Where was it opened? Was it open at Oelwein? Has Rome an agent in the post office there? Is the postmaster or assistant postmaster such agent? Is either a Romanist or a Knights of Columbus? This latest post office outrage on me was perpetuated that the name of my correspondent and the names of other prominent Oelwein men might be handed to the Roman Catholic hierarchy, Knights of Columbus, and other Romanist agencies, which shall surely visit their anger on my correspondent and on the gentlemen named in this enclosure. They will be not only denied what business patronage Rome may control, their persons, properties, and their very lives are jeopardized. They are surely men marked out for Romanist vengeance. My correspondents write, In part, I regret the dilatory manner in which the authorities civil have gone about the prosecution of the offenders of June 12th. It is true that 13 have been called to account, but there are others against whom there is the best evidence that have not been arrested. The woman who struck you the second night ought to be taught a lesson, whether she get full extent of the law or not. Your statement made in Pittsburgh that in the event that you are murdered in the future, you would hold the Iowa officials responsible is all right. It is a terrific fact for the authorities to face. I trust they will feel the weight of it. I congratulate you on the great meetings in Pittsburgh. The country is slowly arising to a sense of the danger. The day of final conflict is postponed, but how shall we keep the people awake? If I can be of service to you in the cause of any future time, I am at your service. May the Lord keep you and use you in this mighty conflict. Most certainly yours. Profoundly moved and aroused to indignation by the latest post office infamy visited on me, fitting sequel to the utterly unprecedented iniquities, federal, state, and municipal, I denounced recently at Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, before representative and enlightened American audiences. I dispatched on August 14th, 1913, telegrams to Washington, which exactly expressing my feelings as an American citizen, determined that his rights should be respected. I cheerfully submit to my readers. The Honorable Albert S. Burson, Postmaster General, Washington, D.C. Post Office outrages on me still continuing. Received today very important register letter from Olwine, Iowa. Letter was broken open shamefully and contents rifled. Crime evidently perpetuated in the interest of my would-be murderers at Olwine, Iowa, June 12, 1913. What is your department going to do about it? Jeremiah J. Crowley, author, lecturer, and publicist, 619 Johnson Building, Cincinnati, Ohio. The Honorable Woodrow Wilson, President of the United States, Washington, D.C. The American post office system has been and is used to my grievous injury. Letters threatening my murder received for 10 years. Also, scurrilous letters, registered and other letters broken open. Grossly insulted personally by post office employees. Murderously assaulted recently in Iowa. What is your administration going to do to protect my life and rights against the Mexican methods of Rome and Romanism here in the United States? Jeremiah J. Crowley, author, lecturer, publicist, 619 Johnson Building, Cincinnati, Ohio. To these messages, which my American citizenship entitled me to forward, no acknowledgement or reply has been vouchsafed. Is Washington prepared to ignore at Rome's dedication, robbery of mails, and murderous assaults? Are we in Naples, Mexico, or the United States? With the post office system of the United States so largely under dictation and the Western Union Telegraph Company paying the Vatican beast ready homage, what rights have individuals distasteful to the papacy that postal or telegraph officials shall respect? Americans must take action, or neither the post office nor the telegraph company nor any other agency or equipment of society or business in this country shall be safe from Romanist rapacity, greed, and lust. Are we, I repeat, in free America, or are we in America Romanized and enslaved by the Inquisition's hierarchs? Torrents of blood were in the war between the states poured out freely to efface Negro slavery from American soil. But there is in fullest activity, at times moment, a slavery fouler and more sanguinary, darkening and debasing all this land from Atlantic to Pacific. It mobs the individual citizen claiming freedom of speech. It robs the post office and pillages telegraphic files. It holds thousands of women in the most atrocious white slavery. It keeps youth in age and ignorance, and by its confessional and its vow of counterfeit clerical celibacy makes itself menace most appalling to pure home life. And it looks like that is it. That's a crazy way to end it, but that's it, guys. I'm kind of surprised. That's it. Wow. There was already 8 visits today. It's probably because they're following along with me. I don't blame them. I would be following along too. But yeah, that's it. That is the end of the book, it looks like. Wow. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Let me tell you what. Let's see. What is this right here? Oh, it looks like there might be one more long. Oh, it looks like there is. So I'm just going to go ahead and read this, I guess. There is like Rome's last attempt to murder me, which we read that. Oh, no, it's done. This is it. Okay, well, all right. Huh. I really think I'm going to look up that book, A Menace to the Nation. I really think I am. But anyway, it looks like we ended just in time. The dogs think there's someone's here. So anyway, I'm going to go. Keep your eyes on Jesus, brothers and sisters. Your nose in the book, which is the Word of God. And let us embed the Word of God upon the tablets of our hearts, so you and I will not sin against God or be deceived. Have a great day. Bye-bye.